Hello everybody. As you can see by the shirt, it's the big one. My official 2025-26 League One predictions. We're back in what other people would say the league we belong in. I don't. I call it the league that we're back to square one in. Basically the one we're very much used to. But the championship is the one we want at least. We got 24th to 21st, which is relegation. We've got 20th to about 17th, 16th, which is relegation battle / surviving. Then we've got 15th to 11th, which is mid-table. 10th to 7th, which is playoff chasers, but they miss out on the playoffs. 6th to 3rd, the playoffs themselves, and the top two, automatic promotion to the championship. So let's crack on with it then, shall we? My 24th, I have gone with Burton. My reason, yeah.
They've lost Boa as well.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Roman Burrell's gone to Burrell's gone to QPR. Billy Boding has gone to Swindon, which I think is a massive loss for them. I thought he was one of their key players, and I know. Lee Bowyer rescued their end of season form last season, which he's done a very good job at. But my reasoning for Burton really is they have almost spent these last 3 seasons now consistently fighting to stay up, almost as if they're going down, and then on the last few games they turn it around. But this is where I think it'll properly catch them this time, and it does happen to clubs like this. It happened to Cardiff, obviously last season in the Championship. It happened to Reading a few years back, of course, getting down to League One in 2023. And I feel like this will be Burton's time. Then bouncing back straight away would depend on the recruitment, of course, they get in 26-27. But no, this is the season I think the Brewers are going to drop to League Two. Sorry, lads, you're going down for me. Knowing ARGYLE, though, we'll still somehow draw at that place like we always do. But yeah, I've got Burton 24th. I think they're going down this year. I think this will be their season. They've been battling for years now, and I feel like this season it will finally catch them. So yeah, I've got Burton 24th. On to the second spot.
I've got Wimbledon the 23rd.
Oh, you know what? We'll just put it out there now, because I've got Wimbledon 23rd as well. And my reasoning for Wimbledon is, first of all, I don't think they've done enough this window. Although, to be fair, I do rate Johnny Jackson as a coach. Like, he knows League One as it is. But I just think they've been promoted far too early. They've lost their talented goalkeeper, Owen Goodman. I think that's going to be crucial to their chances this season, I'll be brutally honest. They've also lost their star player from last season who helped them got promoted, Josh Nerfville. He's gone to Bradford, which I think is a massive loss for the Dons as well, and a big gain for the Bantams in their quest to stay up as well. I do think their 2 main losses is what's going to cost them. I don't think they've recruited enough if they want to stay up. Might do more in January, but I don't see it. And yes, I know they got promoted via the playoffs. They did really well because of that. I don't think they're quite the level of the other 3 promoted clubs, I'll be brutally honest. So yeah, I've got Wimbledon to go straight back down in 23rd. My 22nd might surprise a few people, but I've gone with them because I think their recruitment again has been awful, and I think this could really be a reality check for them. In 22nd, I have gone with Peterborough. I've got Peterborough relegated to League Two for the first time, I think, since the 2000s. So this might come as a bit of a surprise, I know, considering obviously the last few years, apart from last season, Peterborough usually challenge around the top half or yo-yo between the Championship and League One. Obviously last season, Peterborough had their worst season in years in League One. Not just that, I know usually they sell their main players every single summer. Obviously a few years back they did it with Johnson Clark-Harris to Rotherham and Mason Clark to Coventry. But they always get really good fees from them, and they end up using that money to get decent replacements in, and they're settled then for the next season. Peterborough do their usual, and they always do this managerial cycle where they try a new manager. If he gets sacked, then they bring back Darren Ferguson for a 700th time. Darren Ferguson is still their manager, of course. They've been horrendous this window. The only player they've sold purely for a good fee was Quain Poku, who's gone to QPR. But other than that, Ricky J. Jones is out of contract, gone to St. Pauli. Hector Cipriano has gone to Watford, out of contract. And then, of course, Malik Motherseal has gone to Stockport. Again, out of contract, undisclosed. They've had a shocking window. And given how poor they were last season, this season I feel could be a reality check for them. And that's why I've got them to get relegated. They've been so poor, this recruitment for this window. I can see Darren Ferguson getting sacked for like the 9th time of asking this season, at a time in the middle part of the season where they're really struggling for form. I've got them going down. I really have not rated them at all this summer, at all, and I think the only way for them is getting worse, and it'll be their first season in League 2 since the 2000s. I've got Peterborough relegated in 20 seconds. Similar to Peterborough, I think they're going to be in for a reality check this season. And that 21st, I have got. This might get comments, but I'm going to go with them because, again, I think I don't rate their manager, and I think their recruitment has been really poor this window. I have got Rotherham to get relegated to League 2 in 21st, and it would be Rotherham's first season in League 2 since the early 2010s. Last season, they were so overhyped in predictions, I will admit, myself included. I had them to win the league. They did absolutely dreadful. They finished mid-table in 13th. Didn't rate them at all. I thought they looked really dire, really poor. Steve Evans got sacked as a result of that. I don't rate his replacement, Matthew Hamshaw. And again, like Peterborough, I think the recruitment's been really poor. A lot of outgoings. They've had a shocking window. Not rated the incomings at all. I know one of them's one of Barrow's star players, but I really don't think it's enough. Cameron Humphreys has gone to Port Vale. Johnson Clark Harris is gone. Adolphin's gone to Luton. They've been shocking, absolutely shocking, and I wouldn't be surprised if former Exeter man Sam Nombe will be out the window as well, because I don't think he'll be there. I want to be there either. I really think this will be the year Rotherham go down, and like Peterborough, they have a massive reality check. And another manager I can see sacked in the early parts of this season is Matthew Hamshaw. Depends who comes in, but I don't rate them at all this window. I really think they're in for a reality check here. I've got Rotherham to go down in 21st. Now we move on to the survival spots from 20th up to around 16th. So I've got Northampton in 20th. I've got Northampton to do it by the skin of their teeth. Northampton, I think, will scrape it in my opinions. Last season, obviously, they finished 19th. I know ever since they've been back in League 1, they've gradually got worse. Obviously, their first season back in 23-24, I thought they had a brilliant season under John Brady. Obviously, John Brady got sacked last season when form was dipping. They brought in Bolton legend Kevin Nolan. My reasoning being, though, for Northampton, they look like they're keeping their main striker, Sam Hoskins, and I think that is going to be a huge, pivotal, crucial part for their survival campaign this season in the relegation battle. I've got the Cobblers to stay up as a result of that as well. I think their Neen Derby rivals, Peterborough, have done worse in recruitment. Rotherham's done worse in recruitment, and I think Northampton will pull it off as a result of that. I have got Northampton to come 20th. Costello's gone, but look, if they keep Sam Hoskins, which I believe they are going to, then yeah, I can see them staying up. And my 19th, meanwhile, is the Scummers. I've got Exeter to come 19th. I really wanted to predict them to go down. Annoyingly, obviously last season I did predict them to go down, and they didn't. They proved me wrong. They stayed up. My reasonings for this time, I think they will stay up again, annoyingly, and I say that, but I will say this though, I do think they'll struggle. As much as I obviously don't like him, with me being a Plymouth fan, I actually don't think Caldwell's that bad of a manager. I'll be brutally honest. He's kept them sustainable in that league, which is what most Exeter fans want, I can't lie. They have had their outgoings, like I said, Caleb Watts, of course, thank you. Caleb Watts, Dimitri Mitchell's gone Leyton Orient, big blow. Vincent Harper's gone. But I think this is where, you know what I said about Northampton keeping Sam Hoskins, and I think that will keep them up. Exeter re-signing their goalkeeper, Joe Whitworth, who I can't lie, was one of the goalkeepers of the season for the first half of last season. That will keep them up. In my honest opinion, that will keep them up. And they've still got club legend Piers Sweeney at the back as well. So, yeah, I am going to back them to stay up. As much as I don't want to, I do think they have enough to do it again. But like Northampton, I do think they'll scrape it. I will say this now, I do think there'll be a bit of a gap in points from 19th up to who I've got in 18th. I've got the Dirty Grecians to finish in 19th. Only one thing I just want from ARGYLE this season, if we don't get 6 points versus them, I'll be fuming. It's as simple as that. No excuses whatsoever. Moving on to 18th. My 18th, I have got Bradford. Similar to ARGYLE when we first came back up in League One in 2021, where we finished 18th and survived, which was all we needed to do really, and that's what we did. The same thing I think will happen with Bradford this season. I think they've definitely got enough to stay up. They've signed Wimbledon's best player, Northfield, as I mentioned earlier. Joe Wright joins them as well, joining in the core of players like Brad Halliday, Alex Patterson, Anthony Sarcevic, our former man, Poynton. That's good enough for survival, in my opinion. I will say this, though. They have lost their key player, Richard Smallwood, to Tranmere in League Two, which I do think is a massive blow for Graham Alexander's Bantams. I do think they have enough either way. He knows this league as well. I think that's all Bradford's going to be asking for is first season back, they stay up. I think they will do that. I agree with Liam that I think they're going to be hard to beat at home at Vale Parade. But I'm not going to put in their big club size status as to them finishing higher. I do think them losing Smallwood is a blow for them, but the replacements, I think, will be enough for them to stay up, and I do think they will stay up, no problem at the end anyways. But I don't think they're going to do as well as Vale or Donny. I've got Bradford to come 18th. My 17th, meanwhile, I have got Stevenage. The only reason I haven't got them higher is because I don't think Alex Revel will do as well as other managers who I think will be in that area, like Grant McCann, like Michael Skubala. Stevenage, I severely underpredicted last season. I was so badly wrong. I had them bottom last season. They came mid-table. Fair play to them. And this summer, they've signed Jordan Houghton from us. Great signing from them, in my opinion, if they want to have another sustainable season in League One. They've kept hold of their rock at the back. That is Carl Piergiani. I highly rate him. I genuinely think he is one of the most underrated centre-backs in League One. I think he's very good. He will be hard to get past when we go to Stevenage in January. And especially because Houghton will be up for it as well, since he's a former ARGYLE man. But Stevenage have done enough for me to stay in League One for another season. They've also got our former left-back, Saxon Early, as well this season. So Stevenage's recruitment, I think, has been so much better than some of these other teams I've mentioned here. I've got them staying up as a result of that. I think they'll be comfortable in 17th place. And they're severely underpredicted just because of their club size. They're severely underpredicted. And I've got them staying up as a result of all these factors as well. So, yeah, I think they'll be fine this season. And, yeah, they'll be very underrated in my eyes. They will have their brilliant moments, I reckon, from parts of this season. I've got Stevenage in 17th. My 16th, I have gone with, this is going to surprise people, I know, and this is going to get comments, I know. And I actually did have them bottom of the league for most of this summer, but the last few days I have changed my mind on them because I think, again, their summer and just in general their recruitment and their manager, I think, will pull it off a lot more than other teams as well. I've got the team who Liam's got bottom this season. I think you've got the bottom. It was the bottom or 23rd, one of them. I've got Mansfield, which is a big surprise, I know, because I know, as you all know, last season they ended the season absolutely abhorrently in the worst form possible. Obviously, it was the start of last season that kept Mansfield up at the end. But at the end of the day, though, I'm not going to base it on just their total capitulation of last season that got them to finish where they were. Obviously, it is a new season after all, but again, I think they've done better this off-season than some of these other clubs that I've mentioned here. I think Nigel Clough is a really underrated manager as well. I know their form was really ugly from the New Year period, January onwards to the end of last season, of course.
Smart signings, though, such as Liam Roberts, Ryan Sweeney and Kyle McAdam. You know what? Mansfield could be my surprise package here. I'm going to back them. And I'm going to back Nigel Clough. I've got Mansfield to come 16th.
Okay, so we move on to 15th place. This is the start of the mid-table section of the league. My 15th, meanwhile, I do think they will drop down a few places below. I do think they'll drop down a few places below, but I call them the Millwall of the League One. So I call them the Millwall of the League One. They're so unpredictable. One season they're going to be top half, playoff pushing, mid-table. Next minute they're going to be mid-table or somehow just scrapping for relegation. But my 15th, I have gone with Michael Skubala's Imps. I have gone with Lincoln. For me, the most unpredictable team in the whole league, and they're also really hard to play against, as ARGYLE have bloody shown the last few years with them being a bogey side. But I do think they'll be worse this season, because I think other teams will get stronger, and I think they will edge Lincoln on the areas of quality that they need. However, I don't have any fears of them being in a relegation battle. I've got them 15th as a result of that. And he's an underrated manager, to be honest, ARGYLE. I remember the season, obviously, in 24. He nearly got them playoffs. They were so agonisingly close. They're a very sustainable club in League One. When I say Exeter's been annoyingly a sustainable club in League One the last few years, if anyone's a sustainable club in League One, it's Lincoln. Obviously, Lincoln got promoted from League Two in 2018-19, and they haven't left League One since. I think they're now League One's longest-serving club, now that obviously Pompey got promoted 2 seasons ago and Charlton last season. It also depends for me, for Lincoln, on if Jovan McCamber does fulfil his potential, but they've made some good signings. They've signed our former legend Sonny Bradley this season from Derby. They've also signed James Collins, another former Derby player. I think that's exactly what ARGYLE's looking for. So yeah, they'll be fine, comfortable mid-table. They're hit and miss, basically. To put it that way, they're hit and miss. So yeah, I've got them where I've got them as a result of that. I have got Lincoln to come in 15th. My 14th, the second of the promoted League Two clubs into League One. I have got your 15th, Doncaster, who were, of course, last season's champions in League Two. I don't think they'll finish the strongest out of the promoted clubs. I do think they will have a very good season, though, so I'm with you on that one. I personally think Port Vale will have a much better season than Doncaster, but I've rated their recruitment again far more than the teams around them. They've kept hold of Luke Molyneux, their star striker. Very, very good player. I know we've got a very good record against Donny, but this will be a hard team to play against, I reckon, when we go there in December to the Keep Moat just before Christmas. A long away day, that, in South Yorkshire. Grant McCann is actually a League One manager, if you think about it, because, first of all, he was Peterborough's manager before Darren Ferguson got reappointed for the 700th time. Peterborough had a blip of form at Christmas, so he got sacked as a result of that. But before that, he was at Hull in League One, the year Hull dropped to League One in COVID year, and absolutely stormed the league straight away. They got promoted with Peterborough second, ironically, but Hull won the league with Grant McCann as manager. So it's not just the local area he knows well, McCann, but he knows the league very well as well. I've rated Donny's recruitment. They've kept hold of Luke Molyneux. I think they're going to have a good season, and what a return to them for League One for the first time since they got relegated in the 21-22 season. They've also signed Brandon Hanlan and Matty Pearson. Matty Pearson from Huddersfield, who played for the Terriers last season. A great signing for Donny, in my opinion. And yeah, if Luke Molyneux can continue the form he showed last season when Donny won the league, into this season a level ahead, I don't see why not Donny can finish mid-table. I've got Doncaster 14th. And now the last one of the bottom half of the table, in the middle of mid-table, the Fleetwood part of League One. And my 13th, this might surprise you all, but I don't rate this manager at all. Even though they finished 5th last season, I've got Wycombe to come 13th. They're about to lose Richard Coney. They've lost Joe Lowe to Huddersfield, a massive loss for them. They absolutely capitulated last season. The minute Matt Bloomfield went to Luton and Mike Dodds took in charge, I don't rate Dodds at all. I really just, I can't see him improving. I can't see him improving at all. They capitulated the minute Wycombe appointed him as head coach when Matt Bloomfield snaked off to Luton for the money. All they've got left for me now in their key part of their playing squad is Ryan Tafazoli at the back. Wycombe fans aren't even confident themselves, to be honest. They even said the minute Mike Dodd stepped in, they really cannot see themselves as the same team this season. I've got Wycombe 13th as a result of that as well. Caleb Taylor's gone to West Brom, big loss. Cameron Humphreys has been recalled back to Ipswich, big loss. I really think they'll struggle. They still got Gareth McCleary, I know. They still got Ryan Tafazoli. They still got Josh Scowen, Matt Butcher, but I don't think they'll be anywhere near the same team as last season. I've got Wigan to come 12th. I did have them 10th for most of the summer, I'll be brutally honest, 9th or 10th in that area, with securing Ryan Lowe's signature as their manager. But Sam Tickle, their main goalkeeper, who I personally think is one of the best, or if not the best goalkeeper in the league, he could be on his way out. And I agree with you, Liam. Like, I just think they're complete mid-table mediocrity. They finished 15th last season. I do see them improving, but given the teams that I've got ahead of the Latics, I don't see anywhere further forward for Wigan. So I do see them in another season of languishing in League One, basically. I think they are still years away from, if they want promotion, back to the Championship. So yeah, I've got Wigan to come in 12th. And now we go on to 11th. I've gone with the Tarn. I've gone with Barnsley to come 11th. So only one...
Too similar to me then.
Yeah, not too similar. Only one place higher than where they finished last season. Again, I don't think they've done enough if they want the playoffs. Last season, not good enough at all. Darryl Clark got sacked as a result of that. They've now got a former legend of ours as their new manager, Conor Hourihane. So in that perspective, I wouldn't be surprised if Barnsley are up for it on Saturday at Home Park. Hopefully they're not, obvious reasons why. I don't think they've done, like I said, I don't think they've done enough to challenge for the top six. I know Callum Fowler will think a lot different. I know he's got Barnsley 5th meanwhile. But to be fair, McGoldrick, brilliant signing. I know he's old, but it doesn't matter. Age is a number, first of all. And second of all, he's still banging in goals for fun at the age and calibre of his quality. So I will give Barnsley that. But I think they lack everywhere else. And that's where I think their down point will be this season. Barnsley right now are reminding me of what Charlton have been the last few years in League One, in complete mediocrity of that bottom end of the top half, until obviously last season when Charlton got promoted, of course. I feel like Barnsley could go on a similar route here, and then eventually they'll find a season where they do go up. Goldrick, I think, will be their key player. Other key players, I think, will be for Barnsley this season. I remember the year we went up, Luke O'Connell was a beast in that midfield for the Tarn, so he'll be one to look out for again. He's still there. They've also just signed Nathaniel Ogbeta from us, so we'll see how he gets on in Hourihane's system. But they haven't done enough to go any higher for me. I have got Barnsley to finish in 11th place. Top 10 time. We're now pushing towards those playoff positions in what I feel is going to be the four main challengers to the top six. I rate what he's building at the moment, and he got a team promoted from League One before, so I do think he'll be up there. I've got Port Vale to come in 10th, who I think will be the best of the promoted clubs this season. Darren Moore knows this league inside out. He obviously got Sheffield Wednesday promoted in 2023, almost when they nearly bottled it, of course, but he's still a promotion winner after all. I think what he's been building at Port Vale has been an absolute steal. Obviously, in the middle of their midfield is George Byers, again, a Darren Moore signing and a former Wednesday man. He is a beast in League One. Definitely one to keep an eye on off. And they're like Lincoln, they're such a, but apart from the year we won it at their place in 2023, apart from that, Vale, like Lincoln, are such a bogey side for us. So they're definitely not to be underestimated for me. I really think they're going to have a very good season. And I very like the recruitment they've been doing has been very smart. I really like what they're building at the moment. I've got Port Vale in 10th. The only downside I have for Vale this season, as this might be a bit of a bold call, I know, is that the only thing is Darren Moore is more reliable when he has one of the better budgets in a division. His record without that advantage is far less convincing, and there's probably several areas in the team that their squad does need doing, but I trust them to do it. I do think they're building a solid team, I can't lie. So I'm going to stick my balls out here and go with it. I'm going to go Port Vale to come 10th in League One this season. Vale's front three this season, as far as I'm concerned, not really my favourite front three, because two of those names are Jayden Stockley and Ronan Curtis. The other one is Ben Waine. That will be their front three this season. Obviously, Ben Waine was at Mansfield last season. This season, he's at Port Vale. They've also signed Marco Morosi from Shrewsbury, from us actually. He was at Shrewsbury, then he was at us. He didn't get any game time though for us, but great signing for Vale if they want to push on in League One this season in my eyes. And I thought he was really underrated when he was at Shrewsbury in League One. So, yeah, I think they're going to have a good season. I've got Port Vale to come 10th. Now we move on to 9th. I've gone Cardiff to come 9th. I will start with the pros. The only thing I'll give Cardiff is that they've kept the majority of their players. My big con for them, though, is that it looks like it's the same Deadwood as last season that didn't care for the badge or wanted to be at the club whatsoever. The club is run to the core. I personally think Vincent Tan's one of the worst ran owners in the country for English football. Really don't rate him as a result of that. Obviously, last season for Cardiff was an how do I word it? Unmitigated, disaster. Absent owner, that tells you everything. Inept hierarchy, tactically inept. Unqualified manager. That's nothing against Brian Barry Murphy, because he is actually an outstanding development coach, and he has worked with Man City before, but he's unproven, so I don't know how he will actually adapt to that. Powder puff players, relegation. I really cannot see them challenging at all. Their fans ain't confident at all, well, apart from the ones that are usually really optimistic. Like, I even read on a blog that one of them even thinks they'll be in bottom half. I really cannot see them challenging at all. I think they're getting so overhyped. For me, they will finish the lowest of the relegated championship clubs. Yes, they've got a top squad for this level. That's the only thing I will mainly give Cardiff, and they have kept hold of their star players as of now, like Yusuf Salic, even though he's linked with a move to Middlesbrough. I hope Borough sign him just so it helps us in a way. They still got Perry NG, who I personally say is the best right back in the league. Unless Joe Edwards has something to say about that. But yeah, they have got the squad. But everything else, they're ran so bad. They don't care. The owners don't care about the fans. The players look like they don't want to be there. I really think they're going to be in for not just a struggle this season and adapt to life in League One for the first time since the early 2000s, but also they remind me now of what Ipswich were in 2019 when they got relegated to League One, and they got stuck in League One for 4 seasons. Sunderland were the same. And I feel like Cardiff could be in the same boat here. I'm not confident for them at all this season. They're coming into this season in an absolute mess. And they are an absolute mess as I speak. So yeah, I'm going Cardiff to finish 9th. Well, my 8th is Leyton Orient, funny enough. The team that battled Reading to the end at the end of last season for that 6th place in League One. Picked Reading for that final playoff spot. But I've got Leyton Orient 8th. Most of this summer, to be fair, I did have them lower, and especially after losing that playoff final to Charlton, a lot of those players that played in that side for Richie Wellens then departed after that. Charlie Kelman went straight away. He's ironically gone to Charlton. So obviously one of the top scorers from League One last season, they have lost, so a bit of a loss there. But yeah, some of those players that were in that playoff final for Orient, they've all gone to move on. Josh Keeley, their goalkeeper, is now Luton's new goalkeeper. Jack Curry's gone to Oxford. Charlie Kelman, like I said, has gone to Charlton. Ethan Galbraith has gone to Swansea. So, like I said, Orient have lost a bit of quality there, but they found some replacements as well. So, to be fair to the O's, they have done everything they can to replace them at their own disposal to challenge again. One of their new signings, of course, being Exeter's Dimitri Mitchell, which I think is a great signing for Orient. I'll be brutally honest, if they want to challenge higher this season. I mean, hopefully for our sake, he does crap because he's a former Exeter man, but it's a good signing by Orient. It's a good signing. Dimitri Mitchell, great signing. Tyreek Backinson from Wycombe, great signing. Josh Karoma from Huddersfield, great signing. Idris El Mazouni from Oxford, great signing. He's a former Orient player, to be fair, as well, when he was there on loan from Ipswich, so he knows the club very well. And then last but not least, Aaron Connolly from Millwall, a brilliant signing from Orient. That will be huge towards their season. I wouldn't be surprised if they get top 6 again with those signings, to be honest. Richie Wellens is a good manager. They haven't let either a bigger club or a bottom-end championship team or top-end League One team poach him from them. So Orient have done well. Again, I could see them challenging again. I just think there will be 6 teams that pip them. And that is why I've got Leyton Orient in 8th. And now we move on to the final missing out playoff spot. The dreaded, horrible 7th place. My 7th place. Now, I'm going to say this now. I think there will be a little gap from Leyton Orient in 8th and Cardiff in 9th to whoever finishes 7th, because I think, personally, the battle between 7th and 2nd, maybe 1st, but I think 1st will win it by a few points ahead. I think the battle between 7th and 2nd will be really tight. I think it could go down to the wire. And unfortunately for one of those teams, I've had to drop them out as a result of that. Very hard to pick between these 6, I'll be brutally honest. Because even though I personally think they have arguably the best attack in the league and a strong midfield, their defence lets them down big time, and I think they're personally getting far too overhyped. Drum roll, please. My 7th, bless you. Believe it or not, my 7th is Luton. This will get comments, I know, considering they've just signed Naki Wells, who, in my opinion, could very well be the best striker in the league. Brilliant signing by them, I will give them that. People will come up with the usual opinions and favourites, bookies and all that, going, how have you got them 7th when they've got parachute payments unlike anyone else? Which is true. It doesn't mean it will guarantee you success straight away. And that's just the same with money in general. Huddersfield, for example, last season spent just as much as Birmingham in League One. And where did they finish? 10th, while Birmingham stormed the league. That just sums up anything can happen. I personally think the Hatters are far too overhyped at the moment. They've lost Thomas Kaminski to Charlton. I know they've replaced him with Leyton Orient's keeper from last season, but I think that's a huge miss for them, Kaminski, because I highly rate him. They've lost Amari Bell. They've lost Alfie Doughty to Millwall. A massive loss for Luton, in my opinion. Their midfield is strong. I will give them that. Jordan Clark, one of the players of Luton's season, I thought, last season. And then, of course, like I said, they got Naki Wells up front. They got Milenik Ali up front, as much as I can't stand him because he's a former Exeter man. But I really don't understand the hype of Luton. I mean, to be fair, having said that, I get the hype of Luton far more than Cardiff, with my reasons why. But I just think the 6 teams that I've got ahead of Luton, I personally think will do better. I don't think it's going to be as easy as it looks for Luton. I really don't. I don't think they'll be anywhere near what Birmingham did last season. I think they're in for a hard season. This is not a terrible 7th for Luton, by the way. I know they'll react to it if they finish 7th, going, what an awful season that is, and a failure of a season after being relegated from the Championship. But it's not a terrible 7th. I think it'll be a very good 7th, but the 7th place in terms of, like, they'll miss 6th or 5th by, like, either the skin of their teeth with a point or 2 points behind, or on goal difference. A bit like what we did basically in 21-22, which we don't talk about. That's where I see it for Luton at the moment, and they've lost a lot of their players. Like I said, I think they'll be weak at the back, and I think them being weak at the back will cost them. I know parachute payments in League One will give Luton a head start as a result of that, of them being in the Premier League 2 years ago. There's promising talents like Milenik Ali, like Christ Makoso. Alfie Doughty's gone Millwall. Amari Bell's gone Charlton. Carlton Morris has gone Derby. Thomas Kaminski's gone Charlton. Tom Krause has gone to Cologne in the Bundesliga. They have lost a lot of players, especially at the back. I do think a lot of people are overestimating them and overhyping them. I really do. But like I said, I don't think it'll be a terrible 7th for Luton, because I think the battle from 2nd to 7th is going to be really tight. And I feel like 2nd to 7th could be in any order. But I'm going to stick my heart out here, go different and go bold. I'm going to back Luton to come 7th and miss out on the playoffs. And speaking of the playoffs, we're now in the playoffs with the top 6. We now move on to 6th place, the first of the playoff places. I've gone with Bolton to come 6th. This is another season where I didn't have them to go up the last 3 seasons and I got it wrong. I probably would have backed them as my playoff winners, but I'm not backing them this season. Sorry, Bolton fans. The last 3 seasons, I have backed you to go up, either the playoff winner or in 2nd place, and you've failed me the last 3 seasons in a row. I will not be back in Bolton this season. I just want to go different for a change. I hope you understand. They probably won't. I'm joking. But no, it's an interesting one, because I can understand why people have got them higher. It's Steven Schumacher, crying out loud. He's won the league with a certain Plymouth Argyle with 101 points, of course. They're an interesting one. They're hit and miss, Bolton. Last season proved that. I overhyped them big time. I thought they were going up. They didn't. They had a disastrous season. Even when Shuey came in for taking after having Ian Evatt for so long, they came 8th. Not a good season at all, but might be a bit different, obviously, for Bolton this season because Shuey's now had a full pre-season. He's had a full pre-season and he's going to have a full season at the club regardless, especially since their owner Sharon Britton reminds me of Simon Hallett. She's quite not as harsh when it comes to sacking managers, if that makes sense. So she likes to give managers time in a way. I know at the end of May when I spoke to Stumpeg after the Leeds game when we went down, I know when I went to the Leeds game, after we lost to Leeds, we got relegated, I spoke to Stumpeg after the game. She said she's not quite confident going into the season, so I can see why, because Bolton ended the year so diabolically. But they are trying to do business this window. That is my positives for Bolton. They have signed some brilliant signings, I'll be honest. Xavi Simons from Hull is a great signing. I thought he was one of the main reasons why Hull stayed up last season. Cozier Dewberry looks like a really good quality loan. So fair play to them on that. And they've also signed Lincoln's star player as well, Ethan Erhahon. They've done well, Bolton, in the transfer market. And I think what Bolton have been trying to do now, this transfer market, is get rid of the overpaid, overplayed players that have been not exactly performing like they usually have been, like Nathan Baxter, like Ricardo Santos, like Aaron Collins. And they've got rid of all of them this summer. Baxter to Watford, Ricardo Santos to Swansea, Aaron Collins to MK Dons, of all teams. But they've brought in new signings though, Bolton, and you can see why. Their goalkeeper this season, it was Doncaster's goalkeeper last season as far as I know, and helped Donny get promoted to League One under Grant McCann. Steven Schumacher knows how to get out of this league, so I'm not surprised a lot of people have got them in the top 6. But I do think they are a little overhyped. I'm not saying that for this season though. The only reason I'm not saying it for this season though is because I think there's other people that are writing them off in a way just because of how they ended last season. But I think they'll have enough to get into the top 6. I've got them in 6th place, but I haven't got them to win the playoffs. I have got them to get knocked out in the playoff semi-finals by the team who I've got in 3rd, which I'll mention to you when I go on to that. Forgot to mention also that George Thomason has gone to Wrexham as another one of their big standout players that have left the club for Championship football. Sorry about the surroundings, by the way. It is now night time. We're outside Home Park, as you can imagine. Came back here because Liam and I did actually film the last 5 clubs. Liam helped me film it, of course. But this microphone unfortunately ran out when while I was recording. We did record it, but what I didn't realise was that while I had the microphone connected, while run out to my phone, none of the volume or audio would play out of my phone. So I've had to redo this bit all over again. I do apologise everyone for this. So yeah, and that's that. We'll now move on to the team that I have got in 5th. The team that I have got in 5th is Reading. For most of this summer, I actually had Reading battling for automatic promotion. And my reason for this is I personally think, first of all, I personally think a lot of people are under-predicting the Ding. This pre-season predictions before the season obviously begins. Second of all, they ended last season really strongly, people forget, under Noel Hunt. And they just missed out on playoffs to Leyton Orient towards the end. They gave it a real good go, despite the ownership struggles they had, and obviously nearly falling under the radar because, well, Dai Yong is an arsehole, basically. Thankfully, Reading fans will not have to worry about him or a collapse anymore because they've had a brand new takeover. And that is my other reason why Reading are one of my dark horses this season. I think the new takeover that the club's got is going to be a massive feel-good factor towards the entire community, club and local area for the whole season if they want to push further from last season's impressive 7th place finish. Some fans do think they're 4th this season. Some fans think they might finish lower, but I think they're getting overlooked personally. I think they're getting far too overlooked. Can I just say their home kit is gorgeous this season. In my opinion, from what I've seen so far, probably the best in the league. Fears they may crumble are finally over. Kuhig and a talented squad bring hope as long as Noel Hunt can improve with them. And I highly rated Noel Hunt towards last season as well, when he took over from the footsteps of Ruben Sellers, who obviously departed to go and join Hull. And a lot of people thought Reading would tail off after Sellers left, because Sellers is a bloody good manager. I mean, he's no wonder he's Sheffield United manager. And that is why I'm quite confident for Reading this season, to be honest. Tyler Bindon may have gone to Sheffield United, which actually doesn't surprise me in a way, because that is a screaming Ruben Sellers signing. While Michael Craig has gone to Leyton Orient, who of course was at Reading last season, but that hasn't stopped the club bringing in new recruitments, which I consider to be really good for League One, to be honest. Marco Mahoney from Pompey. He will be their striker, main striker as far as I'm concerned this season. Also, just come out now as well while I'm recording this, Paddy Lane from Pompey. I think that's a brilliant signing from Reading, especially for this level. He's not championship level in my opinion. League One I think suits him far more, and that's probably why he's gone to Reading as a result of that. Reading's actually done quite a bit of business with Portsmouth lately. I mean, they've just had each other in pre-season as well. Paldy O'Connor from Lincoln comes in also to strengthen the Royals' defence. And Joe Morrell, former Pompey man as well, he has been given a trial for Reading this season. And if they do sign him, I think that will be a wonderful signing for their midfield. To be quite frankly honest, I actually quite like the midfield that Reading's got, especially if Morrell comes in, with Ben Elliott already there, Charlie Savage already there, and Lewis Wing already there. The only saga that is running around the club at the moment is Harvey Nibbs. He was on the verge of moving to Charlton. I think the deal has fallen through. There's now been talks he might be going the other way to Pompey, which just tells you everything you need to know. But if he does stay at Reading, I think that will be huge. But other than that, my other downside for Reading is that they haven't done much this summer, in my opinion, compared to other clubs I feel around them. But that doesn't mean I feel they're going to have a good season. And I feel like Reading's going to be one of those clubs that will bring more in by the time January comes, ready for the second half of the season. And Reading are my playoff winners this season. I just think the feel-good factor now surrounding the club after what has been 2 extremely turbulent and dreadful seasons off the pitch is now finally over. They're going to turn over a new leaf. Noel Hunt's really underrated, and I think they're severely underpredicted going into this season. I'm going to back them. I'm genuinely going to back them. I'm going to have Reading to come 5th and win the playoffs. I'll be honest, I think doing that panorama shot there might have given my next prediction away. I'll be brutally honest. In 4th, I've got my club, Plymouth. First of all, I will say this. Liam has got us to win the league. Harvey has got us to come 2nd. They are far more confident than I am. I'll be brutally honest. And I hope I'm wrong in not just saying that, but sneezing that as well. I hope they're both right as a result of that. I really wanted to put us top 2 so badly, and I know that is what the club should be aiming for this season, no matter what, because at the end of the day, if this club, the board, Simon Hallett, the fans, everyone, myself, want this club back in the Championship, we've got to aim for automatic promotion this season. And I have stood by since the end of last season that we will do better than Luton and Cardiff this season. I do stand by that. Unfortunately though, I don't think we've done enough compared to the 3 that I've got as my top 3, and that is why I've got us 4th as a result of that. The aim is top 2, but I just don't think we've quite done enough to get top 2 this season. I hope I eat my words saying that. But I do expect top 6 at least. If we finish anything lower than 6th, it's an absolute failure from the whole club this season, in my personal opinion. Not that I want to be cocky or anything, because obviously League One is a really hard league at the end of the day. So it's not that I want to underestimate anyone, but ideally, if we want to be back in the Championship, that's got to be the aim. It's as simple as that. We have lost a lot of players. Ryan Hardy, Jordan Houghton, Mustafa Bundu, Maxi Talavierov. The one that hurts me the most is Adam Randall going to Bristol City. Still pains me to this day, that does. But to be honest, I know we've lost a lot of players, but I am confident in our defence and goalkeeper Connor Hazard. Tom Cleverley is a brilliant manager signing, in my opinion. Also why I've got us in the top 6 at least as a result of that. He is a Championship proven manager. As he showed last season, I thought Watford really unfairly sacked him. So I think we've got a very good manager up our sleeves there. I'm much more confident in the defence and the goalie, more so than the midfield and up front, I'll be brutally honest. Even with Maxi going, he may have been our best defender, but look, we still got Shooks, we still got Pleguezuelo, we still got Poulsen as backup as well. I think that centre-back 3 is some of the best in the whole division, and I will stand by that. The wing-backs as well, we've still got Sorinola, we've still got our captain Joe Edwards. Both of them are Championship proven. They don't look like they're going anywhere. And even more so, the one that surprises me the most, that I genuinely thought would leave this summer, Bali Mumba, is staying put with the club. He will play further forward though this season, I feel, because of the amount we've lost up front in attack. So he probably will be converted into a winger for most of this season. But still, either way, another wing back, that brings depth into the team, especially if we do bring new wingers in or new strikers in. The midfield will change big time this season though. No Houghton, no Randall, no JB. Instead we've got Bradley Ibrahim, who was at Crawley last season. Not a bad signing. Brendan Weirdo from Fleetwood, the one I'm most confident in this season in midfield. Fleetwood's best player last season. Hopefully Cleverley will get the best out of him in this division to make him an even better player. I have high hopes for him. Caleb Watts from Exeter. A Judas move, but we take it. It's so funny. To add further depth into the midfield. And then further up front, attacking mid / on the wing, Xavier Amici, who didn't do that much when he was last in the EFL with Bolton, but I feel like he could be a different player this time. I hope I'm right saying that. Where I'm worried at the most, but he is unproven. He is unproven. So that is where I draw the line in how I think we're going to do. Where I'm worried the most though is up front. We do need a number 9. I mean, we've got a number 9, but both of the number 9s are extremely unproven at first. So if Arabin Pepple and Owen Asani end up being brilliant strikers, then absolutely incredible. The main striker we wanted to get was Roman Burrell from Burton. And it fell through and he's gone to QPR instead, which I think is a blow for us personally. He was going to be our Ryan Hardy replacement. So we now have to go and find a new striker. Dale Taylor from Nottingham Forest has been linked to join us, while Tegan Finn goes the other way. I'm going 4th. I am going to back us no matter what. I am going to back us to do well no matter what and be up there and challenge. I just think the 3 clubs I've got ahead of us will do better. And I have been impressed with more, I can't lie. But ARGYLE, like every season, feel free to prove me wrong. Feel free to prove me wrong. I just hope Liam and Harvey are right, because they are far more confident than me. Up the greens, come on guys. Got to mention also that we signed Jamie Patterson from Coventry as well, who had his moments in the Championship last season, mainly when he came on from the bench. He could be crucial to our season this season. I feel like if we don't get a striker in ready for Saturday against Barnsley, he probably will be our main man up front on Saturday, even though he can play attacking mid as well. We will see. We will see. We will see. I quite like that signing, to be fair, of Jamie Patterson. remember his winner for Coventry against Pompey. Way. Anyways, yeah, that's what I've gone with. I hope we do better, but this is just what I personally think. In 4th, I've got Plymouth. And now we move on to the top 3. In 3rd place, the team that I have got missing out on automatic promotion, I've gone with Blackpool.
Gets tactically masterminded by Steve bloody Bruce. It's like losing a game of hide and seek to Stevie Wonder. He's crap.
The Seasiders, Steve bloody Bruce. I can't lie, had they not sold Sonny Carey to Charlton, I might have put them top 2. I have been that impressed with Blackpool's summer off-season. I can't lie. I really am. I think there really is life in the old dog that is Steve Bruce. After all, obviously last season, it was a transition season for the Seasiders. Obviously started awfully. Neil Critchley, their manager, got sacked early. Steve Bruce came in, steadied the ship. Blackpool finished 9th last season. Although, like us, I do think Blackpool are much stronger in defence than they are in attack. They've signed Franco Ravazzoli as their goalkeeper from Wycombe, a brilliant signing in my opinion, with Bailey Peacock Farrell as their backup. 2 new centre-halves, which I think are stunning, in stunning signings in Michael Ikiwe from Sheffield Wednesday and also Horsfall. Fraser Horsfall played for Stockport last season, so I think, yeah, that is a wonderful signing for Blackpool. Blackpool have got a really strong back 3, in my opinion, actually, in Oliver Casey, Michael Ikiwe and Fraser Horsfall. That is going to be very hard to break down. Midfield, still strong as ever, in my opinion, with CJ Hamilton, Albie Morgan, and obviously former promotion winner in League One, Lee Evans. Obviously, he helped Ipswich get promoted. And they've brought in a new recruitment in George Honeyman from Millwall, which I think is a fantastic signing for Steve Bruce's side. They've got Niall Ennis up front, as far as I know. To be fair, Niall Ennis is a promotion winner, of course. He did it with us in 2023. He's suited to this level of football. Last season, only 2 teams outscored Blackpool. And now with Ikiwe and Horsfall in, alongside Oliver Casey, it could be even better. But I think they're going to be pipped to 2nd by a fellow Northwest club. And that Northwest club being Stockport. I think it's going to be their season. They've had a brilliant summer transfer window. I will go through the players and squad depth in a minute. Dave Challoner is a fantastic manager. He's a serial winner, in my honest opinion. I really think they could go one better. They were so agonisingly close last season. They pushed Wrexham all the way to 2nd place. So unluckily missing out. They haven't got the money like Wrexham have. It all went to disappointment in the playoffs. But they are a club on the rise. They are a club on the rise. I'm going to be brutally honest. And that's been shown from the last few seasons. From their rise from the National League North all the way to where they are now has been nothing short but incredible. And they totally deserve it. I'd be chuffed for them if they go up, to be fair. What a manager Dave Challoner is. That squad is going to be so hard to beat this season. They will challenge. They will challenge. Malik Motherseal from Peterborough comes in, and that's the new club record signing from Stockport as well. He has been added to a long-serving group with real togetherness, plus top talents such as defender Ethan Pye. Under Challoner, who is a serial winner, the blend could honestly be delicious. No pun intended. There's so much togetherness in that team, in that club, in that squad, in that community. And that togetherness and unitedness, I think, is going to unite them to an automatic promotion to English football 2nd tier. I massively rate Dave Challoner. If it wasn't for Muslic, I wouldn't have minded him at Argyle last season after Wayne Rooney. But they're a club on the rise, in my opinion, Stockport. They are a club on the rise. And they've had a brilliant window. They've got a really talented squad. I've got Stockport to come 2nd. Corey Adai, Joseph Aluwu, Ethan Pye, Callum Connolly, Oliver Norwood even. That is some team, to name a few there. I've got Stockport to come 2nd. I really feel this is going to be their year. Which leaves me with Huddersfield, who I've got to come 1st in League One this season as champions under New manager, Lee Grant. For me, the Terriers will forget last season's absolute capitulation, finishing in 10th. A disastrous season, what they endured. Obviously, last season they did pretty much similar to what Birmingham did. They spent so much money in the transfer market, but none of Huddersfield's players performed whilst Birmingham's did, which showed how much of a failure it was for the Terriers last season. But this season, they've got rid of all that deadwood now. They've brought in some excellent captures like Marcus Harness, Ryan Ledson, Joe Lowe from Wycombe, a fantastic signing for the back. Marcus Harness knows Lee Grant as well during their time at Ipswich. Lee Grant was the brains behind Kieran McKenna when Ipswich did back-to-back promotions. And I feel that is going to be massive towards Huddersfield's season. And with League One, in my honest opinion, being relatively weaker going into this season, and that Lee Grant's had a full pre-season to work out what's best for his side as well. Lyndon Gooch comes in as well. Alfie May comes in as well. Freddie Ladapo comes in as well. Again, another player who knows Lee Grant quite well. Huddersfield will win the league, in my honest opinion. They've done the best business out of anyone this summer, in my eyes, in this league. They're gonna do so much better this season, in my eyes. I feel like they will return to the Championship after 2 years away. Forgot to mention Sean Ruffin from Lincoln and Marcus McGuane from Bristol City to add the depth in Lee Grant's Huddersfield side going into this season as well, which I think is going to be massive towards them. They've even got Dion Charles as a backup to both Alfie May and Freddie Ladapo going forward as well. So there we have it, guys. There we have it. That brings me... That is me bringing you my 2025-26 League One predictions. Another season awaits us. Hopefully I'm wrong about Plymouth. Hopefully we will get top two. All I care about this season is second place, and then it is mission accomplished. We are back in the Championship then. But we will see what happens. Reminder, I have got Huddersfield, Stockport and Reading to go up to the Championship, while I have got Burton, Wimbledon, Peterborough and Rotherham to be relegated to League Two. Up the Janners, up the Argyle, up the Greens, up the Pilgrims, up the Plymouth. Come on, you boys in green. Green Army! See you all at Home Park on Saturday for Barnsley at home. A new season awaits us. Sadly, we are back in League One, but let's try and get out of it first time. Take care, guys. Thank you. Have a good one. And see ya!
When they pull on the green, they're all Janners.